Welcome back to Citizen Business Center. How best can you take your business to the next level? It may sound very broad, but that's what we'll try and tackle tonight. Let me introduce you first to our business mentor, business coach on our panel. Polycarp Igade is the Managing Director of Vivo Energy Kenya Limited. Vivo Energy is the Shell licensee in 16 countries in Africa, and Vivo Energy was established on the 1st of December 2011 to distribute and market Shell-branded fuels and lubricants. He has a very colorful CV. Let's welcome him to the panel tonight.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Of course, and obviously an inspiration to many people in the field. And now for those who are here today, I'll allow them to introduce themselves. These are entrepreneurs who are trying to take their businesses to the next level. So I'll ask them to just say their names, what they do, the names of their company. So we'll start with you.
My name is Mercy Sitima. I'm the founder of Urban Fusion. It's an events company. Majorly passionate about influencing culture.
Okay.
So beyond planning events, we usually look at how do we influence the culture of the people involved.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, I'm Joseph Komba, the co-founder Home Pesa Sacco and Home Pesa Schools. Home Pesa Sacco is the first fully digitized Sacco, allowing our members to do all their transactions via M-Pesa and credit cards.
Okay.
On the other hand, Home Pesa Schools is a platform where students and parents can download past papers from KCC to all other past papers available.
All right,
yeah.
Thank you for that.
My name is June Mwangi. I'm the founder of June by Design. It's a fashion house. I'm basically inspired by dressing the young person from their workplace to their social setting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So all very competitive industries.
Yeah.
And you know, you will open it up to you to talk to Polycarp and ask him your questions. But maybe I can start off by asking Polycarp, what are the basic survival skills one needs to run a business?
Well, thanks for that question, and thanks for having me. I'm really humbled to be amongst entrepreneurs. Let me say from my experience 3 things. 1, what is your expression of value? What is the expression of value for your business? And what do I mean by that? I think one of the best expression of values for business I've ever seen was this entertainment spot along Outer Ring Road, which used to be named Jam Rescue. You know, you pass there is always traffic jam just before you go to Mutingwa bus stop. And they just wanted to attract people because they realized that that's an expression of value. So expression of value.
Yeah.
It must be single-minded and compelling. Then the second thing, I think it's your systems, your processes, and your structures. Start them when you're small, because then you build it to last. Many businessmen create a business. They don't prepare for success, they prepare for failure. Preparing for success means you create systems and processes that can outlive you, and you can then pass on that business to your estate or sell it to another person. And lastly, I think it's the people. And the most important people in a business is usually the customers and the people who work for you.
Okay. All right. Maybe at this point I can open it up to any one of you to talk to Polycarp or ask him certain questions about how best to grow your businesses. I suppose, Mercy, if you're ready, you can go ahead and ask your questions.
Well, spotlight on me.
Spotlight on you, yes.
Yes. You've spoken about the value, I call it the value proposition.
Exactly.
And how do you balance? Because at times you can be driven by the value proposition. For instance, I'll give the example that you use, Jam Rescue. And when do you know when to adjust it with the growing market? For instance, maybe it started, there was traffic, and then they build a road, there's no traffic anymore. How do you pattern your value proposition? It's still consistent, but always adjusts to the growing market.
Mercy, that's a great question. I think expression of value or the value proposition must change over time. It must, or it can also remain the same. It depends on the dynamics of the market and the dynamics of the customer that you're actually serving. To get a great expression of value, you must be a very outside-in business person. You must really wear the shoes of your customer and really be savvy, understand their needs, their attitudes, their culture. You talked about culture earlier, which I was hooked on to that. And I already like your business name, Urban Fusion, and you're into entrepreneurship. I think you have to do that. And unfortunately, not many of us in business do so, especially when we become successful as entrepreneurs. We suffer from something I call a pathological preoccupation with ourselves and our own business. We fall in love with ourselves, and we forget we wake up every day as business people because of our customers.
Okay.
So tune into the customer, and they'll lead you to a new expression of value each time. And you have to renew and refresh that over time. That's my experience.
All right. So be just kind of be aware of what the customer wants. That's really great. Joseph, you have a question?
Yeah. In our case, I'll use one of the challenges we are facing right now, which is access to funding.
Okay.
In our case, Home Pesa Sacco is a credit facility.
Okay.
And as you know, with credit facilities, a lot of funds are required for that. But currently, we don't have enough maybe avenues set by the government to support young entrepreneurs who are in need of funds. So according to you, and since you have experience in the field, what are the available methods you can use to access funds as young entrepreneurs?
Of course, naturally, the best place to go and look for funding is usually banks, but banks are expensive.
Yeah.
To get into business, you have to create savings.
Yeah.
And therefore, when you generate profits, try and reinvest a certain ratio of that profits back into your business. I think that's a very way of funding. You can borrow, you can mortgage what you need to mortgage to get into business. But underlying funding, let me tell you, it's the word trust.
Okay.
If you want to look for funding for business, you have to develop trust. So the question, I think, for us always in business is, are you trustworthy? Trust is given to people who are worthy of trust. Have you developed a reputation and a skill for trust? Now, there are people who walk into banks and they're given money without too many questions. There are others who they have to even ask you what your DNA is.
To be sure.
In your blood group. So develop trust, become a trustworthy person, and very quickly there you tap into a sustainable source of funding long term.
Okay. Before I let June ask, how then do you become trustworthy? How do you build towards that trustworthy level where people can say, I believe in giving this person access to funds?
I think you just have to be credible. And being credible means you have no gap between what you say and what you do. So if you say I open at 8, people don't come to your establishment and you've opened at 8:30. Maybe it's your banker who came. Maybe it's your uncle who wanted to mortgage his land to give it to you. There are people who cheat on very small things, and I think trust is really developed by depositing in a trust account. You really have to be somebody who says what they mean, and that doesn't mean that you tell people what they want to hear. It means it's your no is your no, your yes is your yes, and you're usually very polite and firm, and you speak plainly. I think, and that trust is something that is really eroded, especially in Kenya.
Okay. June.
I'm really intent on knowing about partnerships. How do you know the right partners to partner with? How do you know the right people, the right investors to team up with when you're growing? Because
wow, a tough question. I don't think there's any. I don't even have a template on how you choose a partner. But choosing a partner in business is just like choosing a partner in marriage. It's the most important decision you'll ever make. So you pray and you pray again, but you also do your due diligence.
Right.
You do your due diligence. Try and choose somebody whose value system is similar to yours. Unfortunately, most of the times in Kenya, what we do is we go to people who are like us. You know, he's from my village. He was recommended by someone else. You've got to have your own criteria, and to be honest with you, follow your gut, follow your conscience, and you'll therefore get a good partner, and you've got to test them over time. And you must also ask yourself, do you need a partner anyway?
A lot of people feel like you need you all have partners in what you do?
No, currently I'm by myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe the next question can be, why then do you want a partner investor? Yeah.
And I think that's a good question, because perhaps it's a question of growth.
Yes, it is.
And you want to grow, therefore you feel I need to scale up, and I need a partner to come and inject some funds. I guess that's the direction you're going. And growth kills a lot of businesses, by the way. Growth is good, but it kills a lot of businesses. And people are killed because they have an indisciplined pursuit of more. You know, I go to a restaurant, I love the restaurant, the service is good. Then I go and tell a few of my friends, then the restaurant gets a good crowd. Then when I go there for my second experience, they don't have enough forks, they've run out of glasses, he's employed a few of his relatives. You know, then the service is so bad, then I'm not happy again. So you've got to really be prepared for growth. And I always ask business people, please have a very clear understanding. For every 100 shillings of sales you want to grow with, how much shillings do you need for working capital? Because it's a very simple question, and I can tell you there are too many people who can't answer that question, including myself, off your head. For you to grow your business with 100 shillings, how much do you need? The rule of thumb says for 100 shillings growth, you perhaps need 20 to 30 shillings depending on which sector you're in. Because you have to buy more clothes, you need to hold more stock, you perhaps need more branches. So you get a lot of people who are into growth. And also, while we are talking about growth, how do you want to grow? By getting, you can only grow two ways. You get new customers, or the existing ones buy more from you. I want to submit to you that I found it easier to grow with existing customers rather than to go looking for more. And very few of us invest in like-for-like growth. If you look at your customers today, who you had yesterday or last year, how many of them are growing with you? Because what we do as many business people, we fail by going to chase new customers who are very expensive, come with new, they want to change your expression of value, very new demand, and we forget the old ones. Make sure you mine the old ones. You really mine the old ones and take care of them, and that's where you create depth. It's from the old ones that you'll generate new ones.
All right. I hope we can cover as much ground given the time constraints we have. Let's hear your next question.
Yeah, he just mentioned growth, and that was the question about scaling. So we've mentioned partnerships, and let's say you're in a place as an entrepreneur, you're beyond a startup, and you can't really consider yourself a big business yet. So you're in between, you've just learned how to walk, you already know what you really need, you're past the experimental stage. And how do you know not to bite more than you can chew? Because you already feel like you're not a startup. And then there's partnerships, there's investors, and maybe you do not want to take on too much where you lose. You lose yourself.
So I think the biggest constraint, you have to understand your constraints. In my view, the biggest constraint we have as business people surely is time, because God was generous with everything else. He was never generous with time. And you need time for yourself, time for your family, time for your business. Ask yourself, are you running out of the constraints equation? Money, you'll run out of. Resources, people, are you stretching yourself too thin? You can always tell when you're stretching yourself too thin, and you've got to be careful, I think, around that, because very many people, that's where everybody grows. But also ask yourself a question: must you be big to be a good business? I don't agree. I actually submit sometimes the best businesses are the cute, small, lovely businesses. They generate really good value and take a lot of pride in people calling you. I see people saying I'm SME or I'm Jua Kali as if they are doing something wrong or something bad. There's great pride in that. I think.
Maybe until you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to go to the next level. And like you said, that will be determined by how you feel about all the other factors in your life.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Okay. My next question is about marketing. For example, in our case, Hompesa Sacco, we currently have over 6,000 members who have signed up.
Wow.
And we have at least 400 people using our platform daily. Because it's an online platform, people just go to hompesasacco.com or download the Android application and install on their phones, and they can transact anytime.
Wow.
So, what could be the best marketing strategies? Because we are targeting members from all walks of life in our case.
Wow, I sense you're going to become a really big part, because first of all you're leveraging technology, your customers are virtual. I think the best marketing is to keep really attached to knowing which profile of people are coming onto your platform. What's their ages, where do they live, what are they in the life of your typical customer. If you draw that out, then you draw your marketing strategy. And really you don't have to go to school to do that. Some of the best business people, actually, that's why the best business people are not people who are too analytical, or in fact you don't find a lot of professors or doctors or PhDs as business people. It's you people with your nose, the nose of an entrepreneur. You actually can smell the coffee and go for it and follow your gut. So that's how marketing is. And marketing is not sales. Sales is just delivering the product and making sure the customer pays for it. Marketing is creating an enduring demand for your product over the long term.
Okay. June.
I'd like to ask about how important is passion when you're running a business? Is it the core thing? Can you not have passion for something and then start a business with it?
Wow, I would say in my experience, passion is everything. It's what gets you up here. I whistle to work every morning. I could do what I'm doing for free. If you've gotten into business to sort of run away from the weather, you don't really. I don't think you really succeed, and people can tell, because when you have passion, first of all, you have perseverance. There are tough days in business. You know, when the banker is calling, customers are not there. You know, just things go wrong. We know. And if it was easy, everybody could become a business person. So I keep on saying you're special, and that's why I'm really honored to be in your company tonight. So for me, it's passion is everything. But also, let's be careful. I see people who just say I have passion for this, and I'm going, and you're basically selling. There is no value proposition to what you're doing. You need to grow up. You know, find something that you're selling for real. Bring solutions. You're bringing solutions of fashion, solution of financial, of credit, solutions of events. Those are things that have an enduring demand in life's journey. But there are people who bring things that don't have demand, and they say I'm in business, or they're trying to cash in on a problem. You know, today it's raining a lot, so this street I'll start selling umbrellas. Maybe the next time it rains is 6 months from today. So careful about
We're almost completely out of time, so I'll give each of you one last round to either a question or comment. But before then, the three of them are in pretty competitive fields. How do you stay a cut above the rest?
Okay. You've got to you have to be credible. Deliver the value to the customer. Customers they really know. Customers are not morons. And especially when we become big in business, we think customers don't know. Customers know. Just fall in love with the customer and fall in love with your employees. You know, very many business people, I think you have that. It's your employees who'll actually help you over time. Many business people, you see them running a payroll, and maybe their payroll is 100. You find that 95 you're paying yourself as a business owner. And you can rest assured is a ticket to be stolen from completely. So share the cookie with your partners who are employees, because you invest in employees invest in customers, customers reward you long term.
All right, very quickly, if it's a quick fire sort of like question or comment, because then after that we'll need to wind up.
For me, I think I'll pass it on.
You're good. You're now ready to take it to the next level.
I think you mentioned about growth and how it can bring somebody down. So I just wanted to understand, in a fast growing business, how do you handle maybe challenges that come with growth, and what are some of the mistakes that young entrepreneurs make?
Well, I would just say be ready for growth. Be ready for growth. Ride the growth tiger carefully. Okay, it's a wonderful thing to ride, but be careful. There are also risks to it. Understand, have a very good risk management profile. Don't run out of cash. Never run out of cash in business. It is the blood. It's run out of everything else, not cash. Cash and passion never run out of. So be careful about that in terms of challenges. But of course, go for growth. If you don't grow, you die. And define: do I want to grow with new customers? Do I want to grow with existing customers? That equation, balance it. That's my experience.
All right.
How do you maintain your individuality, even as you're growing? How do you maintain your individuality, especially as a creator?
You know, June by design. I like that name. I like you know, the individuality. You've got to keep it. If you're going for fashion, don't do what I see in fashion today is everybody goes to Turkey. So then young people want their own individuality expressed in how they look. So you bring pieces that it's like music. You know, you have to play your own genre. You have to really play your own music and understand. That's how I think the individuality is. But for Christ's sake, never forget the expression of value, your systems, your processes, and lastly, your people. People.
Parting shot, Polycarp, for young entrepreneurs. There's a lot of them who are passionate, like the three we see here. Many who are frustrated. They're trying to take it to the next level. They don't know where to access funds. There's frustrations around the systems. you know, but beyond that, they have good ideas. What would you want to say to someone struggling with that? I have this great idea, I want to grow it, but there's so many things hindering me from going to the next level.
Well, I would say from my experience, persevere. Just grow a vertebrae, a backbone. Entrepreneurship is not for faint-hearted people. Number two, pray for the ecosystem. Pray for Kenya. Anyone who has taken a bet against Kenya as an entrepreneur the last 53 years and said Kenya will go down has lost a lot of money. This country is going places. I want to encourage you to continue investing, believe in the country, pray for the country, elect the right people. Those people called politicians can really interfere with business. They can really interfere with business, and politics is too important to be left to them. So make sure we have the right people. The ecosystem is also important, because if you have the wrong county government, you suffer. So pray for the ecosystem, persevere, bring a persevering spirit, and keep the passion, and let's keep growing, and let's maintain the network.
All right.
It's fantastic.
Thank you so much for your words of wisdom and your passion as well, and your passion for young entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
I think we don't take that for granted. Thank you to the three of you. Good luck as you continue growing your businesses. Sounds like you're all doing pretty well, so keep at it, and all the best.
Wow, very well.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be right back after this short break on Citizen Business Center.